Procrastination is a habit. You're not a procrastinator, but you have the habit of procrastination. And to me, procrastination is knowing what you need to do, but not doing it. And most of the time, procrastination has nothing really to do with the work that you need to do, but with the stress you anticipate this work will bring into your life. So you can see procrastination as a form of stress relief. Each habit has 3 different components to it. Number 1 is the trigger. And the trigger for procrastination pretty much always is stress. Stress that is coming from our day-to-day life. Maybe we worry about the bills that we need to pay, and maybe we stress ourselves out because we are in debt and we do not know how to get out of that. Maybe we worry about whether or not this job is the right one for us, and maybe we stress ourselves out because we do not know what we want to do with our future. All those things play a big role when it comes to procrastination because we tend to run around with this bubble of stress all the time, and now we get into work and we see this pile of work that we need to do, and it's just more and more stress. So what do? So the second component of a habit is the pattern or the routine. And when it comes to procrastination, this pattern or routine is usually avoiding the work that we do not want to do because it stresses us out, because we have so much stress going on already, and now we need to do that, and this just puts so much more stress in our lives, so we tend to avoid the work. And component number 3 is the reward that we get. And in the case of procrastination, it is a little bit of stress relief. So instead of doing the work that we actually need to do, we tend to distract ourselves with things that are gratifying to us. So we go onto this YouTube binge watching streak, which starts with cute cat videos and ends up with the 10 underwater mysteries that have never been solved. Have you ever checked that out? It's actually pretty interesting. When it comes to dealing with the habit of procrastination, what you need to know is that we can't really change the trigger of procrastination, which is stress. Because stress will always be in our life in one way or another. Whether that's good stress or bad stress, there will always be something going on in our life that is going to tend us to give us this feeling of, ooh, I don't want to do that because this is going to put even more stress in my life. However, what we can change is the pattern or the routine that we tend to do after we get this trigger of procrastination. And this is exactly what I will show you in this video. I will give you practical tips that you can do in order to overcome and stop procrastination and do the things that you actually need to do. Hi my friend, my name is Robert Hurd and I want to welcome you to Your Best Self. The YouTube channel helps you become the best possible version of yourself, one video at a time. If you're completely new to this channel, consider subscribing if you're into personal development, becoming your best self, and living a better life in freedom, happiness, and joy. With that said, let's get into the video and let me show you practical tips of how to stop and overcome the feeling of procrastination and get shit done. Tip number 1, take that big scary task that you have in front of you that seems so intimidating and so overwhelming and break it down into small, little, manageable action steps. It's like the saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time. And that's the same here. When you take this big task and break it down into small little action steps, the expectancy of you being able to successfully achieve this task is going to increase drastically. Because if you have this big task as a whole, it seems so intimidating and you are so overwhelmed that you're thinking, all right, I need to go from here to there. That's going to be incredibly hard. But if you break it down into small action steps and now you say, all right, I need to go from here just to here and then to here and then to here until you hit this point of finishing this task completely, that's going to be so much more manageable. So break this big task into small little action steps that you actually can achieve. Start working at the first one and then get to the next and to the next and to the next, and you will just feel so good about yourself completing each and every single task until you have this whole task finished. Tip number 2, get rid of and avoid distractions. Now this is incredibly important because when we tend to procrastinate, we find things that we can do instead of working on the task that we actually need to do, right? So we just check our phone for just a little bit and just, all right, 5 minutes of Instagram, right? And those 5 minutes just kind of turn into 30 minutes because you're checking out all those stories of people, right? Or maybe you're just checking Facebook and all of a sudden you tend to watch all those, Facebook videos and you just get so distracted and you put off work again and again and again. So get rid of that. Put your phone away, put it on silent mode, put it on flight mode, and actually put it out of sight. Because even if the phone is just sitting or laying somewhere where you can see it, you will constantly gonna be mentally checking and thinking about, all right, is there perhaps a new notification that I need to answer? Is there a new email coming in that I need to answer? So if you put it away, out of sight, out of mind, right? Make sure that all the distractions around you are simply gone so you can concentrate on the task that you need to do. Tip number 3. Get started with the easiest, most manageable task that you can do right now that is going to get the ball rolling. Because the hardest part of completing a task is actually getting started. Because this barrier of us, doing something that is incredibly comfortable right now and then getting into this uncomfortable state of working on something, this barrier is incredibly big. So you need to overcome that by doing the easiest task possible. So it can be just putting your running shoes on, or just opening the laptop, opening a Word document and writing the first sentence. Whatever your task might be, just choose the minimal effort that you can do in order to start the whole project. And you will get the ball rolling because now you're starting. And 80% of people usually tend to continue working on the thing. I mean, everybody can write one sentence in their journal, right? Everybody can just start 30 seconds of a video and then just continue. Because starting is the worst part, it's the hardest part. But once you get over this barrier of actually starting something, you will tend to continue working on the task. And when you broke it down into small little action steps, you will be finishing one step after the other until you finish the whole task, and you're gonna be feeling so good about yourself. And tip number 4, set up rewards for yourself that are so motivating and inspiring and so desirable to you that you just want to finish this task that you put out for yourself to finish. Because we are people that want to have instant gratification. That's why we tend to, go shopping or buy a bag of chips or watch some Netflix or play video games. Because we get instantly gratified when we distract ourselves with some of the, comfortable things instead of doing the work. Because working on a task usually doesn't give us gratification in its own, unless you are very gratified and fulfilled by doing the work itself. But instead of distracting yourself with the things that give you instant gratification, you need to set up a reward system for yourself so you get rewarded whenever you finish a task that is important. So that can be that you allow yourself to play 1 hour of video games whenever you finish a very, very important task. Or maybe you get 1 hour of Netflix, or maybe you are allowed to open this bag of chips. Or what works for me is that I allow myself to get a massage for a good month of getting work done. But by having a reward in place, we tend to work more productively on the thing that we need to finish because we know once we finish this task, there's a reward waiting for us. So the faster we get it done, the faster we get the reward. And when this reward actually is very important to you and you want to have it, you're gonna tend to work much better and much more focused because the faster I get this thing done, the faster I'm gonna get the reward. And I also have 2 more bonus tips which kind of didn't fit into this 4-step process, and one of them is to consider the consequences, which is also very important and very powerful to do because now you can really ask yourself, do I really need to do this task? Is it really that important? What kind of impact is this task or the completion of this task is going to have in my life and in my progress in my business, for example? And sometimes we realize that doing this task might open a lot of doors and might get us more progress than we ever thought possible. And sometimes we realize that this task shouldn't be done at all because it's not going to have this kind of impact in our life. So considering the consequences is also very important. Just think about what will happen or not happen if I do or do not do this task. And sometimes we realize that, oh my God, we really need to do this task because it is going to impact me so much that we just tend to get into that and focus on doing this work and get it done. And bonus tip number 2 is to motivate yourself into action. And by that, I mean being your own coach, giving yourself your own pep talk, or getting it from somebody else. Go check out motivational videos on YouTube and pump yourself up a little bit because they tend to work for a period of time to get you started doing the first few steps. And that in turn is going to get the ball rolling, and you'll notice that you're going to pick up the work and do more and more and more until you finish the whole task. And also be your own coach and give yourself this pep talk. Because what a coach does when his team is losing in halftime in a football game, he tends to give him this pep talk, right? Why is it so important that you need to focus right now? Why you are the winners? Because sometimes we just give up on a certain idea and we just get ourselves down. And by having this pep talk for ourselves, we tend to get this back up. We tend to pump ourselves up. We tend to inspire ourselves. And you can do that by literally talking to yourself in the mirror and giving yourself positive affirmations. Just tell yourself that you are good enough. Just tell yourself that you have already came so far that you can do whatever it takes to get to where you want to be. Giving yourself this pep talk and doing this mirror work can actually do wonders for your life. I've tried it out for so many days, and it really did pump me up. And it really, whenever I got off the mirror, I was like, yeah, let's go. I got this. Let's do this. All right. So really try it out. It might seem incredibly weird at the beginning, but you will kind of get used to it and it will help you a lot. So those are my tips on how to overcome and stop procrastination and get shit done. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe also let me know, what do you do when you tend to feel procrastination? Do you have some kind of life hack that you would like to share with us? I'm looking forward to the comments if you have any tips on that. With that said, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're into videos just like this one, and also make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. This is Robert, signing off.